yourself first. Ever notice that moment when she says just one thing and the energy between you suddenly changes? That's sexual tension, and if you respond the wrong way, it could vanish instantly. Sexual tension is rarely obvious to the untrained eye, and it rarely appears as a signal dramatic event. Instead, it builds slowly, subtly, and almost invisibly through a combination of conversation cues, tone, body language, and emotional interplay. When a woman says something that slightly shifts the dynamic of a conversation, whether it's a playful tease, a mildly provocative question, or a comment that touches on a deeper topic, she's often signaling comfort, interest, and curiosity simultaneously. This is a moment that requires awareness, patience, and emotional intelligence, because the way you respond will either escalate the tension and connection or cause it to collapse entirely. Many people make the mistake of either ignoring these cues or reacting with overconfidence, humor that deflect intimacy, or nervous energy, all of which inadvertently reduce attraction. Recognizing these subtle linguistic and emotional signals requires focused experience and a nuanced understanding of human communication, and responding correctly means staying grounded, calm, and emotionally present while still acknowledging the underlying energy she is conveying. One of the most powerful aspects of sexual tension is that it is not purely physical. It's a mental and emotional phenomenon that is often expressed verbally long before it becomes obvious through physical cues. The question or statements a woman makes that create tension are usually layered with intention, even if that intention is subconscious. She may ask something that feels seemingly innocent or narrow on the surface, yet carries with it a deeper meaning about curiosity, trust, or attraction. This is why understanding the subtext of her language is crucial. Responding superficially or literally to a state that is charged with unspoken meaning can unintentionally end the tension. Instead, an effective response should balance intrigue, attentiveness, and confidence, maintaining the connection while subtly inviting a further engagement. By doing this, you allow the tension to grow naturally, giving both parties the opportunity to explore attraction without forcing it or appearing desperate. Many men underestimate the importance of timing and pacing in building sexual tension, assuming that attraction requires overt action or rapid escalation. In reality, the moments when she communicates inner words are often invitations to slow down and create anticipation rather than rush toward resolution. If she asks a personal question, comments playfully on something intimate, or challenges you in a thought-provoking way, it's an indication that she's testing the depths of your presence and emotional stability. Responding inappropriately, whether by over-explaining, trying too hard to impress, or ignoring the energy of the conversation, can deflate the tension instantly. The most effective approach is to respond with measured attentiveness, a light touch of humor if appropriate, and subtle cues that indicate confidence and comfort with the emotional weight of the moment. By doing so, you reinforce her interest and allow the connection to develop into something more meaningful. Sexual tension often thrives in moments of emotional and intellectual balance, where curiosity, playfulness, and emotional safety coexist. When a woman says something that sparks this energy, she is not necessarily expecting a perfect answer, but rather seeking to observe how you handle ambiguity, emotional nuance, and conversational depth. Your response in these moments communicates communicates much more than the words themselves. It conveys your self-assurance, your ability to handle vulnerability, and your awareness of the emotional context. For example, a playful or teasing question may signal her willingness to explore attraction, and your response should acknowledge that without overcommitting or creating unnecessary pressure. Maintaining this equilibrium between engagement and composure ensures that sexual tension not only exists but continues to grow. Creating a connection that is both mentally stimulating and emotionally charged. Understanding sexual tension requires a shift in perspective from outcome-forced thinking to process of focused awareness. When she says something that triggers this energy, it's not about winning, impressing, or moving the interaction forward immediately. It's about recognizing and participating in the dynamic she's initiating. The subtleties of her language, tone, phrasing, timing, and even pauses offer critical insights into her emotional state and level of interest. A thoughtful, measured response that mirrors her energy, demonstrates emotional intelligence, and maintains your presence will amplify the tension rather than disrupt it. Moreover, creating anticipation through conversation rhythm, a controlled vulnerability, and attentiveness allows the tension to evolve naturally into a deeper sense of attraction, ensuring that the interaction remains engaging, professional, and magnetic without ever crossing boundaries or feeling forced. Stay tuned because in this video I'm breaking down exactly what she's really saying and how you should respond to keep the attraction alive. So make sure you watch until the end. And many people fail to realize that sexual tension is as much about what is said as what is spoken. The pauses, the glances, and the subtle shifts in tone all contribute to a complex emotional environment where attraction can grow or dissipate depending on your awareness and response. When a woman says something that signals tension, whether it's a teasing comment, a provocative question, or a subtle observation about your personality, she is often inviting you to respond in a way that maintains mystery, confidence, and engagement, and reacting to literally or explaining or trying to force humor can undermine the natural flow of attraction, while a response that acknowledges the underlying energy without trying to dominate or resolve it immediately strengthens the connection. In a sense, the ability to read between the lines, remain present, and respond with thoughtful composure is what separates interactions that bear lasting tension from those that fizzle out prematurely. One of the most misunderstood aspects of sexual tension is its reliance on emotional equilibrium. Attraction is amplified when both individuals feel comfortable, curious, and slightly challenged at the same time. When she says something that has a deeper interest, she's often assessing how will you balance confidence, attentiveness, and emotional intelligence. Your response should reflect a calm understanding of the situation, allowing her to feel safe while subtly signaling that you are engaged and attuned to the underlying energy. By doing so, you're not only reinforcing her interest but also positioning yourself as someone who's emotionally mature, aware, and capable of handling complex interpersonal dynamics, qualities that naturally heighten attraction and build tension in a sustainable, respectful way. Timing and pacing are critical components of sexual tension that many overlook. When a woman communicates in a thorough, verbal cues, the moment is a signal to accelerate the interaction or push for resolution, but rather an opportunity to observe, engage, and respond thoughtfully. The subtlety of her words often carries a layered meaning, revealing both her curiosity and her comfort with the conversation responding too quickly, defensively, or with excessive humor can disrupt the delicate energy while taking a measured approach, allowing pauses and offering responses that reflect attentiveness and emotional intelligence amplifies the tension over time. There's a careful navigation of conversational cues create a powerful interplay of anticipation and intrigue that draws both parties closer together without forcing intimacy or appearing desperate. Sexual tension is enhanced when conversation balances the challenge and comfort simultaneously. A woman's words may test boundaries, engage your self-assurance, or invite playful debate, all while maintaining an underlying curiosity about your personality and presence. Recognizing this dynamic and responding appropriately requires a combination of self-awareness, patience, and strategic engagement. For example, instead of providing a direct answer to a suggestive or personal question, responding with a subtle humor, reflective insight, or an emotionally intelligent comment signals that you are confident, composed, and attuned to the interaction. This approach not only preserves the natural flow of tension but also demonstrates depth, authenticity, and charisma, key elements in maintaining attraction while respecting both your boundaries and hers. One of the most effective ways to sustain sexual tension is to remain mentally and emotionally present throughout the interaction. When a woman expresses curiosity or interest through verbal cues, your focus should be on understanding the emotional subtext and responding in a way that reinforces connection rather than reflecting or dominating it. Emotional presence communicates confidence and self-assuredness far more effectively than humor, bravado, or exaggerated effort. By listening, actively mirroring energy, and subtly engaging with the meaning behind her words, you not only maintain but also evaluate the tension. This approach allows the interaction to evolve naturally, creating a dynamic where both parties feel intrigued, valued, and connected, which is far more sustainable than any superficial attempt to win attraction through overt or forced gestures. Sexual tension often develops most strongly when both parties experience a combination of curiosity, subtle challenge, and emotional comfort. When a woman says something that triggers tension, it may be playful, introspective, or slightly provocative, but what matters most isn't the content of the words themselves, it's the emotional and psychological space that they create. Recognizing this allows you to respond in ways that reinforce intrigue rather than collapse. A thoughtful, measured response signals emotional stability and awareness, which increases attraction and allows the tension to build naturally. In contrast, overreaction or explaining or forcing humor can prematurely end the momentum, demonstrating the importance of pacing, presence, and attention to emotional nuance. One of the most overlooked principles of sexual tension is the balance between engagement and surrender. When a woman says something that signals interest, it's tempting to respond immediately with a high energy, compliments, or attempts to escalate. However, true tension grows when your response is calculated, grounded, and reflective, and conveying awareness without desperation. Pauses, thoughtful reflections, and subtle humor are all ways to maintain intrigue while demonstrating confidence and self-control. By maintaining this equilibrium, you allow the tension to intensify, surely creating a dynamic where attraction is enforced by cultivated, and curiosity becomes the driving force behind the interaction. Understanding sexual tension requires a keen sensitivity to timing, emotional context, and conversation rhythm. When a woman makes a statement or asks a question that carries undertones of curiosity or attraction, she is often assessing your presence, composure, and ability to engage without pressure. Responding too quickly or too literally can flatten the energy, while responses that acknowledge the emotional layer behind her words without trying to dominate can throw the interaction, sustain, and grow the tension. This approach demonstrates maturity and emotional intelligence, highlighting qualities that naturally increase attraction and encourage a further engagement, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of intrigue and connection. Sexual attention is strengthened when conversations move beyond the surface level while remaining playful and engaging. When a woman speaks in a way that enhances a deeper interest, it's often an invitation to demonstrate curiosity, attentiveness, and subtle confidence instead of interpreting every word literally. Recognizing the underlying emotional subtext allows you to craft responses that balance charm, thoughtfulness, and intrigue. Responding with controlled humor, reflective insight, or subtle flirtation reinforces her interest while maintaining your composure, creating an atmosphere where tension can grow without overt pressure. Over time, this creates a dynamic that feels natural, exciting, and mutually stimulating. And many interactions fail to develop sexual tension because participants focus solely on content rather than energy. Words are only a portion of the signal. Tone, timing, and the way a person frames questions or comments carry the bulk of the attraction cues. When a woman says something that triggers attention, she's creating an opportunity for connection, curiosity, and intrigue. Responding thoughtfully, acknowledging the emotional undertones, maintaining calm, and engaging in a way that mirrors her energy allows the tension to flourish. This method not only signals confidence and self-awareness but also ensures that the interaction remains professional, engaging, and emotionally resonant, providing fertile ground for attraction to deepen naturally. Have you ever felt that a sudden spark of attraction when she says something subtle but didn't know how to respond? Write it in the comments. Sexual tension often emerges most powerfully when both curiosity and emotional safety coexist. When a woman makes a statement that hints at attraction, it's not just about the words. She's observing your confidence, emotional composure, and ability to handle ambiguity without appearing anxious or overeager. Responding effectively requires patience, attentiveness, and a nuanced understanding of emotional dynamics. By maintaining calm, providing thoughtful engagement, and acknowledging the subtext of her communication without forcing escalation, you create an environment where intrigue thrives. This balance between awareness and measured responsiveness ensures that the tension grows naturally, maintaining a sense of mystery while simultaneously deepening connection and mutual interest. Many people misinterpret sexual tension as a momentary spark or purely physical attraction, but in reality, it's a slow building, a psychological and emotional phenomenon that requires a subtlety and a skill to sustain. And when she says something that feels personal, teasing, or introspective, she's often probing for insight into your personality, your composure, and your ability to navigate emotional complexity. Responding too quickly, humorously, or defensively can collapse this energy, while a thoughtful, confident, and measured response reinforces her perception of you as someone emotionally stable, aware, and capable of handling deeper levels of connection. Understanding these dynamics transforms everyday interactions into compelling experiences that leave a lasting impression. Timing, pacing, and emotional attunement are central to sustaining sexual tension. When a woman speaks in a way that signals curiosity or interest, the moment isn't an opportunity to rush or dominate, but rather to observe, reflect, and engage with subtlety. Pausing before responding, maintaining relaxed confidence, and offering insights that mirror her energy allows tension to develop organically, creating anticipation and intrigue over time. These carefully calibrated responses build a psychological rhythm that is both stimulating and attractive, providing a foundation for continued connection that feels natural and emotionally resonant rather than forced or artificial. Sexual tension thrives in the interplay between engagement and restraint. When a woman tests boundaries through playful comments, personal questions, or suggestive observations, she is often seeking both emotional and intellectual connection. Your response should demonstrate attentiveness, confidence, and composure, signaling that you're comfortable with the dynamic without feeling pressured to escalate or perform. Using a subtle humor, reflective insight, or counter flirtation allows the tension to grow naturally, creating a balance between curiosity and comfort that fosters attraction while maintaining respect and professionalism. This approach ensures that the interaction remains compelling, dynamic, and mutually engaging. Many interactions fail to develop lasting sexual tension because participants focus too narrowly on words alone, ignoring tone, timing, and emotional subtext. Every sentence, pause, and nuance contribute to the energy of the exchange, creating a layered environment where attraction can thrive or flatter depending on responsiveness. When she says something that signals tension, observing and understanding the underlying meaning allows you to craft responses that enhance the connection rather than diminish it. Responding with calm confidence, emotional awareness, and subtle intrigue demonstrates maturity and self-assuredness, encouraging continued engagement and deepening the sense of attraction, all while keeping the interaction professional, meaningful, and in line with a mutual respect. Sexual tension is most effectively built when curiosity, emotional safety, and a subtle challenge coexist simultaneously. When a woman says something that shifts the conversation into slightly more personal, playful, or intriguing territory, it's often an unconscious test of your emotional presence and confidence. Responding too quickly, nervously, or without awareness can reduce the tension, while responding with composure, attentiveness, and a nuanced understanding of the emotional context reinforces attraction. This approach allows you to demonstrate maturity, self-assurance, and social intelligence, signaling that you're capable of handling deeper connection without forcing it. Over time, this type of interaction creates a rhythm in which anticipation grows naturally, making the conversation engaging, memorable, and magnetically attractive. Many misunderstand sexual tension as a result of a physical attraction alone, and yet its strongest form exists in the mind and emotions. Long before physical cues become obvious, the words a woman uses, their timing, and the subtle emotional undertones reveal her level of interest, curiosity, and comfort with you. Recognizing this requires attention to both verbal and nonverbal signals, as well as an ability to respond in a way that preserves the delicate balance of intrigue and effective response. Demonstrates emotional intelligence, confidence, and presence, maintaining momentum without appearing desperate or forced. By mastering these conversational subtleties, interactions become dynamic, psychologically stimulating, and naturally charged with tension, creating a deeper and more lasting sense of attraction. Timing, pacing, and awareness of emotional context are critical for maintaining sexual tension. When a woman communicates curiosity, playfulness, or subtle personal interest, the ideal response is neither rushed nor superficial. Instead, it involves recognizing the underlying emotional subtext and engaging thoughtfully in a way that mirrors her energy while maintaining composure, pausing strategically, responding with a measured humor, reflective insight, or subtle intrigue, and allowing the conversation to be raised reinforces the attraction and keeps the tension alive. These small yet deliberate actions create a dynamic of anticipation that draws both parties closer together, making the interaction completely engaging and emotionally resonant without ever forcing intimacy or appearing performative. But one of the most overlooked aspects of sexual tension is that it relies on the interplay between curiosity and restraint. When a woman introduces a comment or question that hints at interest, she's often inviting you to demonstrate emotional stability, attentiveness, and intellectual engagement without pushing for immediate resolution, responding in a way that acknowledges the subtext of her words while maintaining your composure and presence, amplifies the attraction and preserves the mystery of the interaction. Over time, this balance between engagement and subtle restraint allows tension to build, naturally creating an interaction that feels exciting, authentic, and magnetically engaging, encouraging her to remain curious, emotionally invested, and attentive to your presence. Many people fail to sustain sexual tension because they focus too narrowly on what behind it. Every phrase, pause, and tone shift contributes to a layered environment, flourish, or collapse. When she says something that signals curiosity or personal interest, your awareness of the emotional undertones is critical. Responding with confidence, attentiveness, and subtle intrigue demonstrates self-assuredness and emotional intelligence, encouraging a continued engagement and deepening the connection. This approach transforms ordinary conversations into psychologically engaging interactions that build lasting sexual tension while maintaining a professionalism, authenticity, and mutual respect. Do you know the exact words or actions that can turn a simple conversation into undeniable sexual tension? Speak about it in the comments. Sexual tension often arises from the subtle interplay of curiosity, emotional safety, and anticipation, and it's maintained through careful observation, emotional intelligence, and the ability to respond thoughtfully. When a woman says something that hints at interest or attraction, the meaning often lies beneath the surface of her words, embedded in timing, tone, and phrasing. Responding to literally, humorously, or defensively can disrupt this delicate balance, while a composed, measured response demonstrates confidence, attentiveness, and self-assuredness. This type of interaction cultivates an environment where anticipation grows organically, attraction deepens naturally, and both participants feel engaged, curious, and emotionally connected, creating a dynamic that is as psychologically stimulating as it's compelling. Many people underestimate how much sexual tension depends on conversation rhythm and the unspoken flow of emotional energy. When a woman expresses curiosity, playfulness, or personal interest, she is often testing your ability to maintain composure, display confidence, and handle nuanced emotional signals, responding in ways that mirror her energy, acknowledge subtext, and allow pauses for reflection, strengthen the tension, and builds deeper engagement, and conversely, rushing, over-explaining, or attempting to dominate the interaction can dissipate attraction immediately. By cultivating an awareness of these dynamics and responding with subtlety and intention, you create a magnetic environment where intrigue and emotional connection thrive, making every conversation richer, more engaging, and more impactful. Timing, subtlety, and emotional attunement are critical when navigating moments of sexual tension. When a woman speaks in ways that suggest curiosity or attraction, the goal isn't to resolve the tension immediately but to participate in it with confidence and composure. Pauses, reflective responses, and a slight playful teasing are effective ways to acknowledge her interest without appearing eager or overbearing. This measured engagement demonstrates emotional maturity and intelligence, signaling that you can handle complex interpersonal dynamics and emotional ambiguity. Over time, this approach fosters a natural rhythm that sustains anticipation, encourages further curiosity, and strengthens the psychological and emotional connection between participants, creating an interaction that is deeply engaging and compelling. Sexual tension is most effectively sustained when there is a balance between challenge and comfort, curiosity and restraint. When a woman expresses subtle interest through her words or tone, she is often inviting you to respond with attentiveness, emotional presence, and a calm confidence rather than rushing to answer or trying to impress. Responding thoughtfully and subtly conveys that you're emotionally stable, socially aware, and capable of engaging in complex interactions without pressure or neediness. This approach not only preserves the tension but amplifies it over time, creating a dynamic that feels exciting, natural, and mutually stimulating, and allows both parties to remain engaged, curious, and emotionally invested. Many interactions fail to build sexual tension because participants focus exclusively on the literal meaning of words rather than energy, timing, and emotional subtext that accompany them. When a woman says something that signals curiosity, playfulness, or interest, underlying meaning is often a test of your composure, emotional awareness, and ability to navigate subtle cues. Responding with measured attentiveness, confidence, and subtle intrigue reinforces the attraction and allows the tension to grow organically over time. This careful navigation of conversational dynamics cultivates an interaction that is psychologically engaging, emotionally resonant, and professionally compelling, creating a strong foundation for connection and attraction that feels authentic and sustainable. Become part of our family by clicking the subscribe button. Sexual tension is a nuanced and dynamic psychological phenomenon that grows strongest when curiosity, emotional comfort, and anticipation exist simultaneously. When a woman says something that subtly signals interest, she is often gauging your ability to remain composed, attentive, and socially intelligent in a situation that carries emotional weight. Responding too quickly, defensively, or humorously can unintentionally reduce the tension, while responding thoughtfully, confidently, and with a subtle insight reinforces attraction and engagement. By maintaining calm composure, mirroring her energy, and acknowledging the underlying subtext of her words, you create a conversational environment that encourages anticipation, deepens curiosity, and strengthens the overall emotional and psychological connection between both participants, making every exchange richer and more engaging. One of the most overlooked aspects of sexual tension is that it's sustained not by overt gestures or or physical attraction alone, but by the quality of interaction, awareness, and emotional intelligence demonstrated during moments of sudden interest. When a woman introduces a common question or playful tease that signals curiosity or attraction, she is inviting you to engage with composure, reflection, and strategic responsiveness, and responding authentically while preserving a sense of mystery demonstrates confidence, self-assuredness, and a capacity to handle complex social dynamics. This thoughtful approach allows the tension to develop naturally, encourages a continued engagement, and makes interactions feel compelling, stimulating, and emotionally resonant without forcing intimacy or appearing performative. Timing, emotional attunement, and subtlety are central to maintaining and amplifying sexual tension. When a woman expresses curiosity, playfulness, or personal interest, the goal isn't to resolve the tension immediately but to participate in it with awareness, composure, and full attention to energy. Pauses, reflective comments, and playful but measured engagement are all tools that signal confidence and emotional intelligence while maintaining intrigue. By responding in this way, you demonstrate that you can navigate emotional complexity and social nuance, creating a psychological rhythm that enhances anticipation, fosters a deeper curiosity, and strengthens the overall sense of attraction between both parties in a natural and sustainable manner. Sexual tension thrives when interactions balance emotional safety, intellectual engagement, and subtle challenge. When a woman makes a statement or asks a question that signals interest, she is often assessing your ability to remain confident, attentive, and socially intelligent. The conditions of ambiguity, overreacting, over-explaining, or attempting to impress can dissipate the tension, whereas responding with a measured humor, full insight, and composure reinforces intrigue and deepens emotional investment. Maintaining this balance allows anticipation to grow naturally, encourages her curiosity, and creates a dynamic in which both parties feel mentally stimulated, emotionally connected, and genuinely engaged in the evolving interaction. Many people fail to build or sustain sexual tension because they focus solely on the content of what is said rather than the emotional energy, timing, and subtle cues that derive attraction. Every pause, tone shift, and phrasing nuance contributes to a layered environment where anticipation and curiosity either flourish or collapse depending on responsiveness. When a woman communicates interest, observing and understanding these subtleties allows you to respond in ways that maintain a momentum, reinforce attraction, and create emotional resonance. Responding with calm confidence, attentiveness, and strategic intrigue ensures that the tension grows naturally, resulting in an interaction that is both professionally compelling and emotionally engaging, while fostering a dynamic of curiosity, anticipation, and mutual interest. Sexual tension is most potent when it is cultivated through awareness, emotional intelligence, and subtle engagement rather than forced gestures or overt attempts at attraction. When a woman says something that signals curiosity, playfulness, or personal interest, she is creating a space for you to demonstrate composure, attentiveness, and self-assurance. Responding with calm confidence, reflective insight, and nuanced engagement not only preserves the tension but amplifies it, showing that you are emotionally grounded, socially aware, and capable of handling the inner dynamics of human connection. Over time, this approach allows the tension to develop naturally, keeping the interaction intriguing, intellectually stimulating, and emotionally compelling for both parties, while One of the keys to maintaining sexual tension is understanding that attraction is as much about psychological engagement as it's about verbal communication. The subtleties of language, timing, tone, and phrasing carry far more weight than the literal meaning of words. When a woman expresses interest or curiosity through a comment or question, she is often observing your ability to navigate emotional and social nuance with confidence and intelligence. A response that mirrors her energy, respects the underlying subtext, and demonstrates a thoughtful composure, strengthens the tension and allows anticipation to build, naturally creating interactions that are both compelling and memorable. Timing, restraint, and emotional presence are critical in sustaining sexual tension, especially when a woman signals interest in subtle ways. Responding immediately or with excessive energy can collapse the tension, while measured responses, pauses, and reflection allow anticipation to grow. While maintaining a balance between engagement and sudden mystery, you signal that you're confident, socially intelligent, and capable of navigating complex interpersonal dynamics without feeling the need to dominate or impress. This careful approach creates a dynamic where curiosity, anticipation, and attraction continue to build, making interaction increasingly engaging, emotionally resonant, and psychologically stimulating. Sexual tension is cultivated most effectively when interaction balance challenge, comfort, and curiosity. When a woman communicates interest through playfulness, personal questions, or subtle observations, she is inviting you to engage with attentiveness, self-assurance, and measured intrigue. Responding thoughtfully with a combination of calm confidence and subtle playfulness demonstrates emotional maturity and reinforces attraction while preserving the underlying tension. This balance encourages anticipation, keeps the interaction dynamic and engaging, and ensures that both participants feel eminently stimulated, emotionally connected, and genuinely intrigued by the evolving dynamic, creating a long-lasting impression of charisma and presence. Many people fail to sustain sexual tension because they focus on the literal meaning of words rather than the layered psychological and emotional energy underlying them. Every pause, tone shift, and nuance phrasing contribute to an intricate environment where curiosity, anticipation, and attraction either flourish or collapse depending on responsiveness. When a woman expresses interest, responding with attentiveness, calm confidence, and sudden intrigue allows tension to grow organically while reinforcing emotional engagement and psychological connection. By mastering these dynamics, you create interactions that are not only compelling and SEO-friendly, but only professionally polished, deeply engaging, and magnetically attractive, and leaving a lasting impact on both emotional and intellectual levels, maximizing the potential for connection and chemistry in every conversation. Thank you for watching till the end. Have a lovely time. See you in the next video.